Gosh, is it 8 o'clock already? This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. It's now 2 losses in a row for the Sacramento Kings that were blown out by the Thunder at home last night, 132-113. Buddy Hield scored a career-high 37 points. Now the Kings get today off before they welcome in the Memphis Grizzlies to the Golden One Center tomorrow. The NBA also announced today that the Kings and Pacers will become the first NBA teams to play games in India. The teams will play a pair of preseason contests in Mumbai on October 4th and 5th, 2019, at the NSCI Dome. The games will be the first ever played in the country by a North American sports league. And ESPN's reporting that Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen will play Sunday against the Ravens. Allen missed most of LA's last game with a hip injury, but he was back in practice yesterday, so that's good news for you fantasy football players out there. It's 8:02. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning. You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Sam Amick will join us on the Fire Wings hotline momentarily from The Athletic. Fire Wings, hey, just wing it and all calls and guests brought to you by our good friends at Fire Wings. Where I want to start, Sam Amick will join us in a couple minutes, as I said. Also, happy birthday, De'Aaron Fox. That's right. Today is De'Aaron Fox's
14th birthday.
It seems like it, doesn't it? It is his 21st birthday. How about that? Happy birthday, De'Aaron. Buddy Hield just turned, 25? What was that, last week? De'Aaron Fox turns 21. I'm going to keep an eye on De'Aaron Fox tomorrow. I mean, listen, the team needs to win.
We might get some more load management.
Right. if De'Aaron Fox doesn't play tomorrow night due to flu-like symptoms,
illness,
all right. We talked about that before. Flu-like symptoms is a great way. That is the catch-all in professional sports for hangover. If you have kids in the car, turn down the radio here in 3, 2, 1. Sexually transmitted diseases have also been flu-like symptoms before. And by the way, like, you think I'm joking. Do you really think professional athletes have not missed time due to different issues they've had that maybe they let me put it this way.
Notice a lot of flu-like symptoms happen in Miami and LA.
I mean, just think it through. All these young millionaire kids having the time of their life. Occasionally, the old wheel of fortune is going to land on something you don't want. But when have you ever heard Fred Smith will be out 1 to 2 games due to a flare-up? It's not going to happen. Flu-like symptoms is the catch-all. And in De'Aaron's case, first off, knowing De'Aaron Fox, he's not going anywhere near any booze or anything like that. Although you kind of, like, if you're his teammates, you have to at least take a shot with him today, don't you? It's an off day.
Yeah, I think there's room to kind of find a happy medium. Like, he doesn't have to go get tanked, but if he wants to go have his first legal drink, then great.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the end of the world.
Give him a shot of Hot Damn, maybe some Baileys.
Baileys is fine.
I'm trying to think of something light. Something yummy.
Don't drink.
There you go.
Drinking is bad.
It is. And if, like I said, if he shows up a little rugged tomorrow night, that's understandable. But I'm sure he'll. Congratulations to him. Only 21. Whole life in front of him, and we certainly love us some De'Aaron Fox here in Sacramento. Also, if you missed it earlier, the NBA and the Kings announced that next October, early October, they will be playing 2 preseason games against India, the first ever games in Mumbai, in India, should I say. That's a big deal, a huge deal to our owner, Vivek Ranadive, who was born and raised in India, a big deal to the NBA. And I've seen a lot of, as people get the news and when we talked about it, and again, as always, I'll just be straight with you guys, seen a lot of people who are like, we don't need to go to India. What we need is somebody to rebound. Who cares about India? Why is this news? Well, I'll just being straight. I completely understand why. I don't expect fans to be excited that the team's going to India. There's literally, I can't think of a single upside of this team going to India and playing preseason games. I honestly can't. I'm not going to try to blow smoke at you. What I am going to say is shut up, because here's why. As part of the deal that was cut when the team got saved. Say what you want about Vivek Ranadive, but without Vivek, this team's not here. And say what you want about the team going to India. That was part of the selling point. There's over 1 billion people in India. It's the largest democracy in the world, and they don't know basketball. And they're trying to change that. And that's a lot of eyes and ears and a lot of merchandise and TV and blah, blah, blah. So, are you enjoying the Kings? Are you enjoying the new arena? Are you enjoying all that? Okay, well, this is now, 6 years later after Vivek bought the team. This is part of the payoff. You're going to India for a couple games. Get over it and be happy that the, word is spreading and all that. Stop whining. Joining us right now from The Athletic, a guy who never whines, who only dines with his friends. I just said that because he rhymes. His friends in his beautiful brown corduroy jacket and gorgeous, don't call them red, I will call them strawberry blonde locks. He's a tremendous writer. He has respect of everybody, and a future Pulitzer Prize winner, I am sure. The one, the only Sam Amick. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, David. You hit on a couple unintentional perfect segues there, and I'll go through them real quickly. Dines with his friends. Mm-hmm. Shout out to our friend Sean Cunningham, who I dined with at the early hours of this morning on his birthday.
That's my Sean laugh. No? Okay.
No, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Sean is not 21. He's a little bit older.
No, he is.
But happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean Cunningham.
Yes.
The turtle.
The turtle.
The turtle.
And darn it, I lost the other one. I had a second one. What was the last thing you said?
Corduroy, red hair, call it strawberry blonde.
Oh, no. Yeah, so this is right up your alley. I finally, last night, in person, took our running joke about our kids having red hair.
Yes.
And a certain Kings announcer. I
heard about
I've never had that conversation with Grant.
I got a call. I talked to Grant after the game, and that came up during the conversation. and I forget what I know part of what he said, and it's certainly not airworthy. But he was like, man, if you didn't know any better, I'd have all kinds of kids all over the place. So he mentioned that.
My delivery was maybe a little, I tried to not make it weird, but we had fun with it. But yes, for all the times we joked about it, I had never brought him in, face to face. Did
you ask him for the back child support like I always do?
I did not. I'm not ready, because then it's like, do I have to, we get along, but does he then have to come to Thanksgiving dinner? Like, how does this work?
Let's see. What do I got? I got a lot of stuff for you, Sam. Let's start here. After last night's game here in Sacramento, Willie Cauley-Stein had a quote that upset some people, me being one of them, and maybe sounded a little better once you heard the audio. But I'll give you the quote. When asked about Steven Adams and I believe before him DeAndre Jordan of the Dallas Mavericks, who both had tremendous rebounding nights, quote, they get paid $100 million to do that. If they're not doing that, you're looking at them different. Y'all get paid $100 million to rebound and block shots. Me looking in on that, that's big time. Steven's a hell of a player. So me playing games against him and he's doing that, it gives you like he gets $100 million to do that? All right. And this is not the first time Willie has brought up money when it comes to his season, his performance. That may have just been him shouting those guys out like that's why they get paid that much, because they're damn good. I don't think it's a good look, but maybe I'm overreacting, Sam.
No, I'll meet you in the middle. I mean, I don't, in terms of the basketball side, it doesn't bother me that much, because I do think his point is, like, they've been doing this longer than me, at a higher level. I'm trying to get there. Like, philosophically, I think that's the message, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the trend that is a turnoff, on the one hand, I say, well, we're all grown-ups, and really occasionally acknowledges there's a lot of money attached to what these guys do. But it's just a little bit gross, like how often he'll directly connect those dots. Because it does leave you we don't need to be so naive to say what it's for the love of the game, everything's for the love of the game, but I think you got to walk that line, and you don't want the fans just hearing consistently that you're basically just out here just trying to get a check without any sort of greater team-wide purpose at hand. So I heard, the chatter about the quote, then saw the audio. I mean, the video, the video's much better than the printed quote.
Yep.
Also find it funny that, so much respect for those Thunder players. And I don't know if this kind of was on your radar at all, but, not quite the same story when it comes to the way, from the sound of it anyway, the way the Kings bench decided to handle Russell Westbrook last night and poke the bear. A lot of talk at the former MVP that to me was, kind of, the Kings feeling themselves maybe a little bit too much for these young guys that still have a long ways to go. Did you hear about any of this at all?
The only thing I heard, because I was not at the game, so I'm very interested in this, is that De'Aaron Fox, before the quote, that I'm paraphrasing, he's the fastest player in the NBA, he's faster than Russ, blah, 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 but I didn't hear about the chatter from the bench, no.
Yeah, and I didn't. I mean, it is third hand, but it's, from people who were right there and but we're in the Thunder locker room after the game, and the way the story goes is that speed discussion seems to have made its way to the bench, and guys on the bench were essentially chirping at Russ, asking him, how's your speed, and like making cracks about how he wasn't fast enough. And it's like, I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? But and the comedy part was my friend and colleague Hector Mesqua from the Sacramento Bee, was there videotaping Russ's post game, and by his own admission, like he probably should have provided a little more context to his question. But the final question to Russ at the end of his media session, when he was already kind of walking away, was Hector ended up kind of blurting out, "How's your speed?" and Russ just gave him a big old eye roll and he didn't say anything and kept walking. But yeah, it seems like the Kings players were trying to, keep that narrative going in the middle of the game.
Yeah, maybe they should chill out on that. I like what you said, that maybe the young Kings are feeling themselves a little too quickly. When you look at the game in Minnesota, which we really can't count because Jaeger tossed the starters after about 6 minutes, and then last night against an Oklahoma City team that they were 2-0 against, including a road win, both with Russell Westbrook having pretty decent games. You were at the game, so your takeaway, because I think it's rare when we talk, I know you got to cover a ton of other teams. Did you come away with, did the Kings take the Thunder too lightly? Were they not prepared? What did you come away with from the game?
For one, that Paul George should have held a more prominent place in my MVP column last week. He's just on a different level right now, and he went kind of supernova. So Paul was doing his thing. The Thunder defense is just incredible this year. They're number one in defensive rating. And so, but the other trend in terms of the takeaway that is fascinating, and it kind of sets it up nicely for Friday night to see if this trend continues. I wish I could credit the right person on this tweet, but you probably saw this tweet that talked about how, OKC, I think two other teams that the Kings had beaten twice and then got smacked in the third time.
Utah. I think it was Jason Ross, and it was Utah and somebody else. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was Jay Ross. So, and then, Memphis on Friday. No, they got Memphis twice. They beat them both times?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's and they're losing bad in these third matchups. So, my takeaway is, if I'm kind of guessing and reading minds for these Kings opponents, it's first time, fool me once, people had no idea that the Kings kind of had what they have when it comes to this up-tempo, talented group that plays in a pretty unique way. And so you get them the first time. Second time, you got distracted by a bunch of other teams that you played in between, and you probably just assumed, because, the Kings have been awful for more than a decade, that, that was just an aberration. So you get smacked again. Third time potentially feels like, it's like in baseball when it's you start seeing, guys come through the rotation again, and you figure them out. And that, I think, from a scouting standpoint, is probably happening. I know fans know this. I don't ever know if fans really understand the level of detail that's happening every night inside these arenas when it comes to, each team, having an advanced scout to really break down exactly how each team is functioning and what's happening. So, you got a lot of people whose job it is to try to solve these puzzles, and obviously some of these teams are figuring the Kings out.
Sam Amick of The Athletic joining us, and it wasn't undefeated. It was just a third matchup. I have the tweet in front of me. Third game versus the Jazz. They lost by 21. Third game versus the Wolves by 27. And then last night, they lost by 19. Coming up next, their third matchup versus the Grizzlies, of which they are 1-1 this year. To kind of simplify your point, is it basically maybe the basketball equivalent of the pitchers have now gone through the order, or the batters have gone through the order 2 or 3 times? Like you said, people get paid to see stuff.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I didn't very well express in my sleep-deprived state, because I was, trying to bring in the birthday with Sean Cunningham. Yeah, I do think that's it. I think, I spent some time before last night's game with one scout in particular, from Utah. And it just kind of was an interesting reminder, because Utah plays OKC next. And so, you got a human being, in the arena, and, he's filing a very detailed report late that night for OKC that's trying to solve Billy Donovan and Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And so just the point is, as the season goes on, you surprise people less and less, and you have to find ways on your side to evolve. And that, that's on Dave Yeager and the staff and the guys themselves. But yeah, I think for sure you just have a database that didn't have much in it Kings related early on, because they had changed what they do, and that database is getting bigger.
Sam Amick with us, and listen, Sam, with all the stuff we're talking about, and they're all, I think, extremely valid points, can we also simplify it down, too, so nobody jumps off a ledge, that Iman Shumpert has been a pleasant surprise for this team, especially defensively, and the Kings have been playing teams that are pretty damn good on the perimeter, in which he shines. Bogdan Bogdanovic is very quietly one of the more important glue pieces. And even though we're not used to Marvin Bagley yet, when we're talking about rebounding and hustle stuff, that's really where he shined in double digits several times this year. All this, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but is it fair to say also they're shorthanded and that's affecting them on the floor?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we none of us went into this season thinking that from a pure talent standpoint, the Kings were in the top half of the NBA, right? So if that's the case, and that part hasn't changed, they haven't made any major moves, then that stands to reason that, the guys you're talking about, you lose that kind of talent. And, the specific type of talent. I mean, Iman has been a pleasant surprise, one of those vets who we kind of admittedly left for dead and thought he was kind of heading for the exits. But, he's got something to prove and seems to have been a really good leader with this group. And then, Bagley doing his thing, and Bogdan too. I mean, those are 3 of the most. I mean, it's 3 of the top 6 most impactful players on the team this year, roughly.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's fair.
Sam, is there anything to take away from LeBron James' dinner with Carmelo Anthony?
Yes, Kyle. I think that LeBron's level of deliberateness, is that a word?
Sure.
His deliberability.
It's deliberatation.
Deliberatation, whatever the word you want to put on it. I do think he's just very calculated. And now, granted, the quick backdrop here, our guy who covers Cleveland does a great job, Joe Varden at The Athletic, had reported about 2 weeks ago that LeBron wanted Melo in LA with him. But Joe wrote the story itself in a very, ironically deliberate way to paint this picture of how, he was setting kind of the baseline to say, I don't know what's going to happen here, but yes, LeBron wants Melo on the Lakers. He has not gone to management. He hasn't flexed his muscles yet on that front when it comes to the front office. But it's from Joe's standpoint, and he covered LeBron for years and knows him well, and I talked to Joe about this, his whole point is, we've seen this song before, and, D. Wade eventually came to Cleveland, and nobody thought that was going to happen. didn't obviously go very well, but it did happen. So yeah, I think that 4 or 5 weeks from now, at this point, there's part of me that would be surprised if Melo didn't come. They've got one roster spot open, I believe, and you got the trade deadline coming February 7th. So maybe it's a deadline thing where the Lakers simply say, we can't afford to not have that flexibility to look at any and all deals. So they might tell LeBron, like, can we do this after the deadline? Let us settle the roster. And if we got a spot, we'll do it. Plus, let's not kid ourselves. Like, if the Lakers feel decent about their chances of being in the playoffs, then it's like tell Melo to just to get himself in much better shape than he had been in the last couple of years and really come back with something to prove. I think he's kind of slowly but surely trying to push that storyline along.
Last thing for you, Sam. We talked about this yesterday. We'll stay on LeBron James, his comments about Anthony Davis, which is hilarious because players they do not have the ability to tamper. They can say whatever they want. And I said to Kyle, I'll say it to you, Hot Sports Radio Take. You tell me how close or far off I am. Within the next 4 years, Anthony Davis will be a Los Angeles Laker, and the New Orleans Pelicans will be playing in Seattle.
I'll go yes. I don't know. Boston might get him. They have more to put on the table. So I guess I'll go with that because I don't think that the Pelicans I think they're going to slow play this, and they want to, and Anthony continues to really, the Pelicans fans should really appreciate that guy because he says all the right things, and he seems really genuine, and he's just focused on this team, and he doesn't sound like the guy who's about to pull a Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean?
Right.
At all. The Seattle thing, man, oh man, oh man. Maybe, yeah. That one, because somebody asked me yesterday, I don't know how I dropped the ball on my answer. They said, who's the last star of this magnitude to leave a small market like this Anthony Davis situation? Like Cousins comes to mind, but they hadn't, not quite on the same level. Somewhat similar, but I'm sitting there going, well, hello, Chris Paul, same market.
Sure.
Sure. Same situation. So, that would be tough for the New Orleans fans, but at the same time, to the whole grander point about whether or not they relocate, the problem is there simply aren't enough New Orleans fans. They just don't support the team all that well.
Right.
So, at some point it becomes a matter of dollars and cents, and maybe they do end up moving it.
I lied because we have 30 seconds left. For real's last question, and I want to ask you this right around the third of the year, and I'll ask you this every month or so. Have your goalposts moved? I'm sure they have on the Sacramento Kings. Are they to you a playoff contender? Are they to you a team that is fully capable of finishing 500? Are they to you a team that's going to win more than 30 games? Where are you comfortable right now if you had to put on your guessing hat?
The health, you made a really good point on the health front. If they're healthy, I think they could stay in the mix for the 8th spot till the end. But I also would not be surprised. How many wins do they have right now?
They have 16.
Would it stun me if they finished the year with 33 wins, 31? No, because it's a tough league. So, honestly, that's I'm not really giving a great answer. But, I think they're going to be competitive, and that's a step forward. And, the health and X factors like that are going to determine if they really stay there and push for the playoffs, or if they fall off like a lot of teams end up doing about midway through the year.
Well, Marvin Bagley won't be back anytime soon. Iman Shumpert hopefully next game, and who knows with Bogdan Bogdanovic if that ends up being a chronic thing or just a game or two. But we shall see, and we always appreciate the time that Sam Amick gives us each and every day. Caretaker, along with me, of Grant Napier's children, which is why we have the bond that we do. Buddy, have a Merry Christmas. Kiss your beautiful wife and lovely children for us. And from all of us at the KH2K family, we appreciate all the work you do all year long, and I hope you have a safe and happy holiday, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Same to you. And I got to get the old holidays card your way. I was like Santa Claus last night at the game trying to get a few out, but we didn't see you, but I'll get that your way.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate it. You take care. That's Sam Amick. And I was trying to go into an Athletic read there, which is why I messed up the word you. Go to theathletic.com. So many different holiday deals going on right now. It's so damn cheap to get the best sports coverage you can out there. Curate it to your own wants and needs and favorite teams, and read wonderful writers like our very own Sam. We'll take a break. Hey, sure was hoping for some cold, hard facts today, and I look down here at the rundown. Looks like I'll get some, if only they were brought to you by Coors Light. Well, they are. From Kyle Madsen himself. We'll do that in a couple minutes. Don't go away at Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. It's now 2 losses in a row for the Sacramento Kings, who were blown out by the Thunder at home last night, 132-113. However, it wasn't all bad. Buddy Hield posted a career-high 37 points, while De'Aaron Fox poured in 28 with 12 assists. The problem is the rest of the Kings only combined for 48 points. They are off tonight. They welcome in the Memphis Grizzlies to the Golden One Center tomorrow. The NBA also announced this morning that the Kings and Pacers will become the first NBA teams to play games in India. The teams will play a pair of preseason contests in Mumbai on October 4th and 5th, 2019. That's next preseason at the NSCI Dome in Mumbai. The games will be the first ever played in the country by a North American sports league. And ESPN's reporting that Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen will play Sunday against the Ravens. That's good news for all you fantasy players out there. Allen missed most of LA's last game with a hip injury, but he was back in practice in a limited fashion yesterday. It's 8:33. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Got a lot of stuff to get to here in the final half hour. I see some of your phone calls at 1-800-920-1140. Kyle is checking in on those right now. From the 209, I'll address this. I get these questions, and this is doesn't seem like it's very snarky. Serious question, Dave and Kyle. The Athletic is only $2.99 a month. Do they really have content that can't be found otherwise? Really debating on getting it. Money isn't the problem. Just want to make sure I read it. Between listening to KHTK and watching actual sports games, Kings, Niners, Raiders, etc., I don't even know if I'll read a paragraph of that publication. Sorry for the long text. It's a perfectly valid question. First off, it depends on if you read stuff. If you don't read, and I don't mean you can't read, but if you're not a big reader, then no, it's not worth it. Why would you get it? I enjoy analysis. I can get box scores anywhere. I can read what a guy's stats are, and there's certainly a lot of very good free content. But not to get in too long of a rant here, but I'm very protective of good journalism.
Sure.
You have a lot of websites that are pivoting to video, and it's all, some big, loud sports donkey going, LeBron James is not in the top 10, and now here's a video of all the times LeBron James got blocked, and that's your content. When I read guys like Sam Amick, Matt Barrows, and the 500,000 phenomenal writers that The Athletic has poached from other places, I know this. I know that at the local papers, they're all struggling right now. A lot of them are. Most of them are. And without the guys that are going to have the relationships with the athletes to ask the extra questions, just look at what Sam did with Jimmy Butler right before he got traded. You get that extra analysis and digging that I personally need to know about. And obviously I get paid to know about it. But even if I wasn't doing this for a living as a sports fan, when I look at my cable bill, when I look at the money I spend on different hobbies and things that I do, between my subscription to the Bee and my subscription to The Athletic, and I have a couple other subscriptions too, we're talking $7 a month, $8 a month, $5 a month. You're also helping support these journalists that are going out and doing the work. The Bee, for example, it's not even about sports. Look at all the work they did on the Paradise Fires. Look at all the work that they did, the investigative journalism, holding people accountable. That's disappearing. So, yeah, could you find a lot of this? Are you going to be out of the know? No.
Here's what, to me, The Athletic does really well and why I appreciate it. The Athletic is a really good blend of what you're getting in a newspaper, just the hard news, the game story, maybe the occasional feature, but they blend it really well with with blog content.
Yeah.
So the stuff that I do for Niners Wire, I can go to Niners games, but I don't because I don't gain that much more by being there. I watch a Niner game and I write analysis about it or what I see, what I think, and that's it. The Athletic will do stuff like that, but they blend it with quotes and top level analysis from really good journalists.
Absolutely.
And it is it's just really excellent content, top to bottom.
I completely agree, and we got to move on from this. But Kyle, I'll tell you what's next, and somebody wants to go out and has some seed money. This is the future of this too. You're going to see this exact same format and subscription base with podcasts here very, very soon. Podcasts are the wild, wild west right now. There's a lot of great content that they're not making money off of. Most podcasts don't make money. You're going to see an Athletic-style subscription base that's going to be bringing in all the major talent under one roof.
I think so, too.
From the 916 quote, I miss reading the transactions portion after the box scores in the paper. Little known fact, as a 15-year-old intern at the Sacramento Bee, I used to write that. It was called the Agate, and you had to put in different codes and stuff. It was very confusing. I used to write that under a guy named Mark McDermott and Ricky Graham. It's time now for What's on Tap, brought to you by Coors Light. Roll tape.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Day. Here's Kyle Madsen.
Kyle, before you get started, hold on. My kids are off school, and my kids are off school, and my kids are out of school, and I just got a call from the home phone, and we're in the middle of this segment, so would you forgive me? But I just want to make sure everything okay. I'm sure it is.
Today's cold hard fact is that Dave's kids are not in school.
It's going to be my daughter, and she's going to have questions about people showing up there. I can almost guarantee you, but as a dad.
Hello?
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi. I just wanted to let you know that the guy in the red shirt knocked on the door. I opened the door, and he's like, "Where's your mother? Where's your father?" And I'm like, "They're not here." And then he's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to have to call into the office because the rules are that there has to be a dude over 18.
Okay. Well, they are. By the way, hey, sweetheart, we're on the radio right now, so say hi to everybody.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Say hello.
Quality content.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Just so everybody, there's construction going on at my house, and we have, I don't want anybody to think I'm a bad parent. We have people coming in and out, and my wife is gone momentarily. We thought this might happen. My little girl is now old enough to handle this stuff, and we practiced and rehearsed, and she was supposed to call me, and she just called me while I was on the air, thus worried father. That's all right, sweetheart. You did everything right, and I'll be on
really
the phone.
Well done.
I'll be on the phone with them soon, and you just keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
Bad idea.
Hey, by the way, great job the other night at your band thing. That was awesome. I was talking about it, how fun it was.
Oh, it was screeching. I feel so sorry for you.
Why? I loved it. Are you kidding me? You guys tried so hard and you did so well, and I knew all the songs. You have nothing to be ashamed
Well,
of.
as long as we tried hard, but the music was horrible.
The music was not horrible. You guys aren't the Philharmonic. You're little
I'm just kidding.
I feel like you're not.
I'm kidding.
It's a bit.
Okay, what are you going to go do right now? You're going to go get on your computer, watch some TV?
Yes.
You're going to take care of your little brother? You're going to help him make breakfast?
Are you going to take care of whoever's sitting next to you?
Yeah, but I don't need to. Are you gonna have cereal and have breakfast?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
What, am I supposed to have nails?
Wow, now she's getting energy. You see that? You see that 11-year-old attitude happening?
Yeah.
Right?
That was really sassy.
Daddy, what am I supposed to have, Daddy? Nails? Of course I'm going to have breakfast.
Okay, well, keep doing what you're doing.
I love you.
Love it too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm isolating. Keep doing what you're doing.
Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Coors Light.
Back off the ledge, Kings fans. We talked about this earlier.
Yes.
This is hardly the first time the Kings have lost back-to-back games this season. They've done it. They did it to start the year. They also lost back-to-back games November 4th and November 7th. They lost back-to-back games November 16th and 17th. They lost 3 in a row, November 24th, 25th, and 29th. Relax. It's going to be okay.
Thank you, Kyle. While we're at it, since you are trying to help the fan base out, I will give you an opportunity right now before we go to break. Would you like to retract your earlier statement that the Sacramento Kings are a playoff team?
No, I'm sticking by it.
Wow. I've got a cold hard fact brought to you by Coors Light. Since Kyle Madsen declared that the Sacramento Kings were a playoff team this past
Oh, wow, look at that. We got to go to break.
This past Monday, the Kings have yet to win a ball game.
This is the Lowdown. The Lowdown.
Fans didn't come. It's the last game. They're upset.
What's on tap? It's apparently a bunch of phone calls I had to make during the break because my house is, like I said, a construction area. I apologize for that. What is on tap? Brought to you by
Alarm clocks.
Oh.
So you can be on time.
You know what? You can't always rely on the sun. And, it's hard to train a dog to lick your face at a specific time.
You can't always rely on the sun. Wow, shots at Mason.
What did they do before alarm clock? When was the alarm clock invented? I don't expect you to know that.
Didn't we say the other day that the first alarm clock, didn't you have the fact that it went off at 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Like it only went off at 4 a.m.? I'm sure.
Oh.
I'm sure that if not waking up at the crack of dawn meant you got like kicked out of your home.
Yeah.
Or whatever for like not doing chores on the farm or whatever. I'm going like Little House on the Prairie here.
I understand.
Then I think you would probably just wake up automatically. Plus, sleep patterns are probably different. There wasn't as much going on. So you're probably in bed by like 6 p.m.
What year would you say the first American alarm clock was created?
American alarm clock?
Yeah. Which, by the way, what's the difference between an American alarm clock and like a Chinese or a African or a European or okay, anyways. That's what I have in front of me.
1909.
1909? What an idiot. It was. Go ahead.
1847.
1847, you say. What a moron.
I got nothing.
Of course, it was invented by Levi Hutchins of the New Hampshire Hutchins in 1787. However, he only made it for himself and only rang at 4 a.m. in order to wake him for his job. The French inventor Antoine Redier was the first to patent an adjustable mechanical alarm clock in 1847.
Antoine Redier, which is actually French for alarm clock.
Antoine Redier actually was a phenomenal receiver for a while and used to play quarterback at Indiana. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, had a tremendous catch in the Super Bowl to help them win a title. You don't get that?
Are you
Antoine Redier? Am I mixing people up? Because I'm making.
I think you're mixing up Antoine Randall.
Yes, but who am I mixing him up with?
Santonio Holmes.
Wait. Why am I saying? Did Antoine Randall play on that team?
Maybe.
Really? Why do I have Antoine Randall? Obviously, I know I have him in my head. Antoine Randall played quarterback, I believe, at Indiana. I mean, I had that. Yeah, Indiana University. Antoine Randall he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers 2002 through 2005. He is a Super Bowl champion, won the largest Super Bowl ever, by the way. Did you know this, that the Pittsburgh Steelers won the largest Super Bowl ever because it was Super Bowl XL?
That's, gosh, I really hate you sometimes. So he was not on the Steelers team that won that Super Bowl that you were talking about.
Right, he won the other one.
Yeah, the Santonio Holmes Super Bowl was 08.
Yeah, he was in that. He was actually, by the way, no, but I said he made a huge catch in that game. He was the third non-quarterback and the first and only wide receiver in NFL history to throw a touchdown pass in a Super Bowl, Kyle.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
To Hines Ward.
To a 43-yard reverse touchdown pass to Hines Ward in the fourth quarter. Remember when that was a thing in the NFL where you had the players that could kind of go back and forth? Do you remember the other Steeler right around similar time?
Cordell Stewart?
Cordell Stewart. Nickname?
Slash. Flash.
Slash.
Slash.
School?
Colorado.
Biggest play in that school?
Hail Mary against Michigan. That I don't know.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I think you do. When I say it, you'll know. No relation to former NBA MVP and current triple-double machine.
I know it's Westbrook. Michael Westbrook.
I believe it's now you got me screwed up with
Brian Westbrook's the running back.
Michael
Westbrook's the receiver.
Michael Westbrook. That was a Hail Mary, Colorado at Ford Field against Michigan, and that was man.
I never knew that Michael Westbrook was on the receiving end of that.
No.
Nope.
Was it? Now we're going down a rabbit hole. Was it Michael Westbrook that played for the Redskins?
Yes.
And physically beat Steven Davis unconscious during training camp, and there was video of that? I thought that was Michael Westbrook. Do you
Maybe because he got into MMA after.
Yeah, and I think he knocked Davis unconscious, and there was video of it from kind of far away, but he just absolutely flattened him during training camp. What's on tap? Brought to you by Alarm Clocks. Why are we vamping here? Because it's nothing on tap. There's no football.
I'm so ready to coast through tomorrow's show.
We should probably put that out there. You can hit us both up on Twitter or, of course, text us at 441140. We are, of course, taking all ideas and all topics. This is we only do this a couple times a year. We did this before Thanksgiving. This is your opportunity. We'll have some fun. Remember, we will be off Monday, Tuesday of this week. We will be off Monday and Tuesday of the following week for New Year's. So we're going to have a fun holiday show, much like we did for Thanksgiving tomorrow. There will be some sports. Don't get me wrong. We got a Kings game to preview and all that. But for the most part, it's just going to be us goofing off. And then the following Friday will be our year in review. We'll be giving our New Year's awards that we'll make up on the fly. Superlatives, hyperbole. We will have the Hyper Bowl, as I like to call it, or you can pronounce it hyperbole. We will be making our New Year's resolutions, blah, blah, blah. So tomorrow is sort of an AMA, as they say on Reddit, Ask Me Anything style show that we do a couple times a year. You have the opportunity to direct the show. If you have topics you want us to talk about, you have questions. Think of it as like Dear Abby, but on the radio and without qualified people and nobody named Abby. Tonight, you've just got a couple of games going on in the National Basketball Association. Both, I believe, nationally televised. Yeah, TNT games. Rockets at Heat, Mavericks at Clippers.
Hey, we're also giving away Monster Jam tickets. That's the opposite of a fart noise. Hey, we've got a family 4-pack to see Monster Jam, the most action-packed motorsports experience for families in the world, coming to the Golden One Center January 18th through the 20th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com.
What's it going to be? Fourth caller again?
Yep, fourth caller.
Wow, shocker. Kyle with the fourth caller
right
every freaking
Win some
day.
Monster Jam tickets.
339-1140.
1-800-920-1140
1-800-920-1140 to win those tickets. We always bitch and moan about Thursday night football. It's bad for the players. They should do away with it. It's terrible. And then Thursday night football's not on tonight. I'm like, bring back Thursday night football. Come on. We told you earlier Keenan Allen will play for the Los Angeles Chargers. Not the same for the Carolina Panthers, and this could affect a lot of you fantasy football players in your semifinals, getting close to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton, according to reports, will be shut down for the final 2 games of the season due to his shoulder injury. We told you about Josh Gordon, the lowdown, and I'm sure Grant and Doug will have more on that. He is stepping away from football. Reports from Ian Rappaport, amongst others, that he has violated the substance abuse policy once again. And finally, Kyle, Pat Mahomes is endorsing Hunt's ketchup.
Gross.
At least go Heinz, right?
He's going to put it on his mac and cheese.
For Kyle Madsen, for Eunice, and all of you guys, thanks so much. Jim Rome is next. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast day on Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye now.
This